No, good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the County Council meeting. Today is January 22nd. Mr. Bulasan is absent, and Ms. Holland is at a prior engagement. She'll be here a little late. So with that, I'll call a meeting to order. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho.
Here.
Councilmember Cowden.
Here.
Councilmember Holland is running late. Councilmember Kaneshiro.
Present.
Councilmember Kuli'i.
Present.
Council Chair Opozo.
Here.
5 present.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Chair, on page 3, this is an interview for the Fire Commission for Jenny Chahanovich for a term ending 12/31/28.
Thank you. With that, I will suspend the rules. Ms. Ching and Ms. Chahanovich.
Shahanovich.
Morning, Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Ellen Ching, Boards and Commissions Administrator. Today I'm pleased to introduce Jen Chahanovich. Jen was born and raised in Orangeburg, South Carolina. She attended elementary and high school in the neighboring town of Ellery. Upon graduation, she married and followed her military husband to Ogden, Utah, and attended Weber State University, earning a bachelor's degree in respiratory and healthcare administration. At a subsequent deployment, Jen continued her education at Western International University in Phoenix, Arizona, and graduated with a Master's of Business Administration in Marketing. Jen started her career working as a healthcare director of respiratory therapy at Vencor Hospital in Phoenix. While there, she was appointed by the Governor of Arizona to the Respiratory Therapist Licensure Board, where she also served as board chair. In 2002, she was recruited and hired as Director of Respiratory Therapy and Rehabilitation Care at Kapiolani and Palimomi. In short order, in 2004, she was promoted to Chief Operating Officer at Palimomi and later as a CEO in 2013. Under her leadership, Palimomi grew into a respected regional medical facility. Following the closure of Hawaii Medical Center West in 2011, Palimomi responded to the need for emergency care by expanding its services. This dedication to patient care enabled the IAEA-based hospital to be ranked among the top 10% of healthcare facilities in the nation for outstanding patient experience. In June 2015, Jen became the CEO of Wilcox Medical Center and Kauai Medical Clinics in Eleele, Kapa, Koloa, and the Urgent Care Clinic in Lihui. She's brought the same drive for excellence and focus to patient care on Kauai. In 2019, she quadrupled the Kapa Medical Clinic, renovated the Emergency Department and Trauma Center, and is upgrading the Imaging Center. In her free time, she loves to read books on improving health and is the proud mother to her son Ryan and 3 white Labradors, Makai, Yuki, and Melly. She loves to travel anywhere with a beautiful beach. One of her favorites is Bora Bora in Tahiti, where she's visited 3 times. The continuum of care typically starts at dispatch, fire, police, the ambulance, and the emergency room. As an experienced leader of large, complex service organizations, I'm grateful for Jen's willingness to contribute her time and talent, and I look forward to her contributions to the Fire Commission.
Thank you. And with that, Jen, anything to add to that amazing introduction? Max, is what I'm seeing is that what's on the stream? Okay, so it's going to be stuck on us for the whole...
Just for the next couple minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that...
the only thing I would add is that I was honored and privileged to serve 2 consecutive terms on the Fire Commission, and I was very proud to serve this community and work side by side with the other commissioners for the Fire Department.
Thank you for that. Any questions for Jen? Or comments?
I just have comments.
Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank you so much for having spent 2 terms on there. I see that you really have good attendance and you're vigorous and a really strong contributor to the commission. And I value the strength of the business experience that you have. Running a hospital and a whole medical thing, you grasp both the logistics and the finance of handling the fire department, which is actually, I think, like 43 million. I'm trying to remember. It's a significant amount of our budget. So you have that experience. And then what I also feel like is a really good crossover as being from the hospital is a lot of those people who are rescued end up right in your emergency room. So you are on the tail end. We have dispatches at the front end, and then the hospital is at the tail end. So you are, I think, excellent for the position, and I really enjoy the work that you do in there. I honor it, and so thank you for being willing to do it again. You have a very busy job, and you're still willing to put this kind of effort in our community, so thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? If not, I'll just say thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr.
I just
Kaua.
want to thank you, Jen, for you stepping up, and you have a wealth of knowledge and understanding and connections, so I think very important. And your role in the fire commission will be very, very exceptional. So thank you for stepping up, Malo.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Not. Thank you again for agreeing to serve. Yeah, I know you're a busy person, and just want to say thank you for all that you do for our community in so many different capacities, and taking Wilcox, into the community as well. You guys are everywhere, and the improvements that have occurred over at the hospital and ER is just phenomenal. I was just there Friday getting a procedure done, and just amazing staff, just amazing experience, and I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
With that, if there's nothing else, thank you very much. We'll be voting on the resolution at the next council meeting.
Thank you very much.
With that, I'll call the meeting back to order. Next item, please.
Our next item is an item on the consent calendar for receipt, C2026-12.
Move to receive.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
And there has been a request to take C2026-13 out of the consent calendar and have it discussed.
Okay.
Communication from the Director of Finance transmitting for council information the Department of Finance excess of revenues over expenditures and other financing sources in the amount of $13,743,221 in accordance with resolution number 2022-36. Further has calculated the excess of unassigned fund balance over the minimum reserve target of 30% of the previous year's general fund revenues as of June 30th, 2024, is calculated at $13,106,951.
Move to receive.
Second.
Thank you. With that, I'll suspend the rules. If we can have finance come up.
Turn the mic on. All right, Michelle, thank you so much. I mean, it's always great to be 13.7 million over instead of under, so that's good. I'm wondering why we're getting our overage for June 30th, 2024 today instead of maybe a year ago.
Good morning. Michelle Lizama, Department of Finance Deputy. We just finalized our audit for fiscal 24, so that's why we're receiving this fund balance.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember, so when we started the budget last year, was this fund balance then not there at the beginning of our budget?
Correct.
So then I'm assuming we don't know what our overage is for 2025?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have an estimate?
No estimate right now. We're actually actively going through our audit for fiscal 25.
Okay, it's not your fault, but that's really late. It's good to know, how much we have extra and then how we're going to manage it. So.
We are working diligently to get that done.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for finance? If not, thank you. I know there is a, and we can request this in writing, because I think I'm interested as well. Kind of like a, what word am I trying to think of? The current numbers in a spreadsheet to give us an estimate. It's very difficult because some of the, the spending of the money comes much later in the year. So I know it's always, there's always that interpretation issue, but there is, and I've seen it before, where we can show what it is as of today, on all different accounts, and I think that's what you're asking for.
Yeah, it's like we have the burn rate and, the different elements like that. It'd be really nice to know where we're at, so then that when we have extra money, that we know how to be utilizing it, and especially 13 million, almost 14 million people struggle with the amount of taxes that they're having to pay. So it's better to not be overtaxing people. So
I do want to say in the report, as of December 18, 2025, there is the 701.
There what?
701. In your report, there is the 701,000 as of December. So estimate.
Okay.
Excess available.
700,000 excess available.
701.
And that's above our reserve. Probably, because that gets held in there. But I just like to be able to know where we're at, so that when if we able to spend some money, that we're able to do it. So thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. Anyone in the audience wishing to testify? Seeing none, I'll call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion?
Maybe just one quick comment. I'm thinking quite possibly, as with every year, and then, we try to address this during budget, but primarily we budget for positions that we anticipate are being filled and vacant positions, and when they in fact don't get filled, then often, and it comes to the tune of millions if you look at the budget when the year ends, when we end up with surplus, right? Because we budgeted for more expenditures that didn't actually happen. So the largest item easily is vacant positions.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I look at that and I'm really appreciative of an item that's coming up where we're getting a substantial gift, but I cringe when I look at an overage and then maybe a gift that's being given relative to just not having all the paperwork in the right position or something like that. That's just uncomfortable for me.
Well, and that is why it's critical for us on this body to make sure that we get our audits done on time. Mm-hmm. Because this, while it tells us where we were in 2024, it does us no good for our upcoming budget. So that's why we got to really push the administration to move with these audits so we can get it in a timely fashion. The forecasting document I was talking about, because here, we're showing 701,000, but that's as of December, but it's not taking into account all of what Mr. Kohli was talking about. So, we have a lot of accounts in our county, a lot of line items that, with the proper forecasting, we can see where we're at. Are we at 50%, 40%? What are we anticipating the final number to be? So we have a better idea when we budget where we're at. So these are the questions, and that's the document, staff, that it's kind of the point in time of where we are with all of our funds and all of our line items, so we can make a determination, at what percentage of the budget are we at now. And, you see it later today, you'll see an item coming up asking for $500,000 from an item that the department no longer needs. That's what, if we're not spending it, that's where it ends up.
That's right. So I just, it was kind of shocking to see that much extra play. And then, I want us to be able to, I'm trying to be nice about it, but.
Well, that's where we control during the budget.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be done, then we shouldn't be funding it. That's my position. So anyway, With that, thank you very much for being here, Finance, and not knowing that you were going to be called up. Thank you. The motion is to receive. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Next item is communication C2026-14, communication from Darren Rose, Assistant Chief of Police, Police Operations Bureau, requesting council approval to accept additional funds from the State of Hawaii 911 Board in the amount of $39,220, increasing the total budget to $1,061,245, which will be used to update the higher ground logging recorder and to upgrade the dispatch consoles.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions you have some questions?
Yeah,
Okay, with that,
just gentle ones.
I'll suspend the rules if someone can come up.
It might be very simple. So when we are updating the higher ground logging recorder and upgrading the dispatch consoles, does that mean you're getting new equipment in, or does that just mean we're upgrading the software?
Good morning, Sergeant Andrew Moroka. Morning, Sergeant Andrew Moroka, Hawaii Police. So that higher ground logging recorder is, so the current system that we have currently came to end of life. So this is for a refresh of that system. So what that system does is it logs all of our 911 calls, radio transmissions, and calls that come in on our admin lines.
So it's just keeping track. It's not any new equipment or anything like that.
It's basically a refresh of the higher ground system that we currently have. So it's going from one version to a different version because the old version is no longer being supported.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. Anyone in the audience wishing to testify? Seeing none, call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion? Motion is to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C2026-15, communication from the Executive on Transportation requesting council approval of the indemnification provision contained in the Webco Toolbox Software and User License Agreement, a powerful PC-based diagnostic software for commercial vehicles, allowing the transportation shop mechanics to connect the Webco system to read fault codes, access repair information, activate components, and perform calibrations and programming, reducing the downtime for buses, which is required for electric bus repair and maintenance.
Move to approve. Thank you. Any discussion or public testimony?
Just small discussion. I just want to thank our transportation department and, well, I guess I have a small question. I'm just wondering if we got our electric buses are here? So this is including that, right?
Yeah, the next item will be about the electric bus
Okay.
batteries, so we can
Yeah.
have to come up with that. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion is to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
On page 3, C2026-16, communication from the Executive on Transportation requesting council approval to purchase unbudgeted equipment of 4 electric bus chargers with dual dispensers at a cost of approximately $1,120,238, utilizing existing funds from the Federal Transit Administration, Section 5339, Low-No Grant of $936,612, and General Excise Tax Funds of $183,626. The grant funding was provided sooner than anticipated, providing the ability to proceed with procurement for the chargers this fiscal year.
Move to approve.
Second.
With that, I'll suspend the rules. Julia, if you can come up, please.
Good morning, Celia Mahikoa, Executive on Transportation.
Thank you for all the work that you guys do, and I know it's always changing technology, so this is like roughly $1.2 million, maybe a little less than that, $1.15 million for 4 chargers. And so where are those chargers going to be?
Where are they going to be? They're going to be installed in our, what we call Lot B, which is right across from our admin building in
In
that
Lihue.
parking lot. In Lihue, yes.
I just was kind of wondering if we have a need for chargers anywhere else out in the island. We know that there won't be any sort of problem where we might want to charge one of these buses when they're at the extension of a run. That would be a problem, right?
That would be a problem. Thankfully, the vehicles come with quite an extensive battery capacity. at this time, so we're thankful we're able to get full runs out of them as we've designed them.
So do we have 4 buses and 4 chargers?
Yes.
And then is there good warranty on the chargers? All that's resolved, right? We've seen how many chargers we have go bad in a relatively short time, and we lost our support, our contractor for fixing the chargers. So how have we anticipated any?
We are working with the vendors that are available for these products, and ensuring that we have the bases covered to keep the charging capacity, the charging ability sound and going into the future. So
And the vendors
doing our best.
in Hawaii or in the continental United States?
In the continental United States, yeah.
So if we had a problem, they'd fly out here,
Yes.
and then they're going to be flying out here regularly, or we have a pathway where we're looking to anticipate if we have any problems.
Yeah, we are working with them. Some of them, because there are electric buses on Oahu, do have vendors available on Oahu as well that can help service and or carry out the warranty work for the actual vendor.
And are these buses doing the long haul, or are they doing the short circuit tracks?
They are doing the long hauls. We have a Route 900, 950 that just started up earlier this month. That is going from Anahola to Waimea Park and back. So it's kind of an add-on.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of a good one.
So it offers a great opportunity for individuals coming from the east side for getting to the airport without needing to do a connection or transfer in Honolulu.
I'm happy to hear that. They're going to stop at the airport?
Yes, it
That's
does
great.
service the airport and
Okay.
Wili Wili.
All right, that's long overdue, so I'm happy about that. And then, so I'm just curious why this wasn't anticipated. It says an unbudgeted item. Is it just unbudgeted because it's early, or why was it unbudgeted?
That's precisely what it
Okay,
was.
so we at least knew we were going to need this, right?
Right. We were intending to place it in the upcoming budget, but thankfully the funds became available sooner than we anticipated. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. So with these 4 buses that we have right now, do we have charges for those buses now?
Yes.
Do we have 4 chargers?
We purchased 2 portables to get us by until the construction project can actually get the permanent installed ones in at our base yard. So Public Works has been very gracious in allowing us to have the portable chargers installed there, and so our mechanics have been doing a great job getting them rotated out so that they're remaining fully charged.
Okay. And then one more question, because these batteries, when these batteries die, does the contract require the vendor to take those batteries back, or how are we planning on disposing of these batteries?
That we're going to I'll need to follow up with my team and see
Yeah, because
what the plans are.
I just found out that even the state doesn't have any process in place. They had an abandoned car, electric vehicle that on state property that they wouldn't tow because it had an electric battery, and the county doesn't tow it because it has an electric battery. What are we going to do with these batteries once they need to be disposed? That's a question that needs to be answered.
I agree. Thank you.
I have a comment on that. I know that Puhi Metals that takes the batteries from the cars, they can't even send those batteries away any longer. We can't dispose of the batteries. So it's something that we need to look in really heavily. I know I've brought this up a handful of other meetings, but we definitely need to be looking at what we will do with bad batteries.
Countywide and statewide and
Yeah,
nationwide.
and because the ships don't want them on them. So that's a very significant problem when we're an island community.
Okay, well, hopefully before you come for budget, you'll have some answers for us on that, because that's going to determine my support. I mean, I don't want to be taking on these batteries if we cannot dispose of them. I mean, I understand the value of EVs, but if it's toxic, and I don't want it here. So, okay. Any more questions for transportation? If not, thank you very much. Anyone in the audience wishing to testify?
Thank you.
The rules are still suspended. Mr. Psychos.
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. The public's great thanks to the Transportation Department. Many people depend upon the bus, and your new route, I'm sure, is hugely appreciated, and I myself will use it to go to the airport next time.
Yes.
I came up here because the issue was raised about the potential problems with these electric batteries. And so one of the interim possibly solutions is, after the wildfires on Maui, there were all these burned out cars that had electric batteries, and there were the Tesla and other companies' household batteries. And so on Maui, they developed a new system with the help of the EPA and FEMA and all of that. They developed a system in which they could, I want to use the correct terminology here, minimize the likelihood of having an accident with the batteries down to the point that statistically they figured out how to handle these burned batteries without them becoming an actual threat to the people dealing with them. And so I'm not sure who one would contact, but certainly FEMA, Maui Economic Development, Mayor's Office, they should all be fully aware of this best practice that was developed on Maui with these batteries, and I would encourage us to figure out how to adopt it here so that we can be ready for our first major electrical battery fire instead of having to figure out how to deal with it as it's burning. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion? The motion is to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C 2002-6-17, communication from Makana Rivera, Assistant Chief of Police, Support Services Bureau, requesting council approval of the indemnification provision contained in the DJI Terra software terms of use, which processes aerial data collected by department-owned drones into usable outputs such as 3D models and orthomosaic maps, which is essential for accurate mapping and visualization to support Kauai Police Department operations and emergency response.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Do you have questions? Okay. With that, I'll suspend the rules.
And again, I understand this is an indemnification,
Correct.
so I'll keep the questions simple. So I try and always look for reauthorization. Is this brand new, just a brand new software that we're going to use? Is it brand new technology, or is it continuation?
Good morning, Lieutenant Aaron Lester, Kauai Police Department, for the record. Ms. Cowden, this is going to be new software for the department. We're actually purchasing it on behalf of, we'll be sharing this with the fire department and our planning department. It's going to allow us to utilize our current drones to do the mapping software, so we don't have to outsource it, which we've done historically in the past.
Okay, so, because I thought we already have drones.
We do.
So this is just how it's going to map. Is it going to end up in the KEMA place too?
It is, ma'am. Yep.
It is. Okay, so it's a lot more than just the police department.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I know especially when we're having emergencies, that's really helpful. I have to put a small plug in for my son because he's in the drone team now in his piece there. And they actually have an incredible amount of success and I think police officer safety as a result of that immediate stuff. Like that's one of the things that he's been just like, wow, wish we had this on Kauai. So, yeah, it helps them make better choices and not end up in the wrong place.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be where does it end up being shown? Is it in the police office, or do you have it right on your computer in your car?
So we'll have it. We're gonna have to use the computer at the station. It's kind of CPU intensive. So we will go out and capture some information. So like we had the Hanapepe wildfires. We paid a company to fly an airplane over that to take the post-disaster pictures, which cost us a couple $1,000, which was an unexpected budget expense that year. This will allow our drone team inside the department to go out, capture that same aerial imagery at much higher detail, process it within the department, and we can share it with any of our county partners.
Okay, which would mean the fire department, so
Yes, ma'am.
that's,
Airplane.
who's out there hanging from a helicopter,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So we want them to land in the right place or drop in the right place and do as well as we can. So thank you. It looks like this is multiple benefits.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience wishing to testify? Mr. Psychos?
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. Congratulations to the police and the other entities in the county that will benefit from the use of the software. Very supportive of it, but I do have the question of, as the data gets accumulated from the drones, who owns the data? Does the county of Kauai own the data, or does Terra Software have some right to our data, which they can then resell as data, right? That's where the world gets rich today, is selling other people's data. And so my question is, does this allow some third party to sell or otherwise utilize our data? Do we own it, or does somebody else? Thank you.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Is that something that JPD can?
Or how about the attorney?
Good morning, Lieutenant Lesser again. To answer that question, all of our data would be kept in-house. So this is a program that we can run completely offline. We don't have to share that data with anybody else.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, and I just want to make a comment on that, and then also looking at our county attorney. Can we really look carefully at that? I know that I get a lot of concern from a handful of people that are really worried about surveillance society, or surveillance intention, from the national government and the world government, and so, whatever we're calling the globalists. So I get these concerns all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
And so there's a lot of good that can come out of this, but we also want to make sure that this isn't being used in some sort of nefarious way or having our data sold. So I do actually really appreciate the question from the testifier. And, I would love to actually get some sort of after notification from you guys that just shows me where that is in our contract, that it stays with us.
Okay.
Because people are very concerned.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to testify? Seeing none, I call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion? The motion is to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C 2026-18, communication from the county clerk, transmitting for council consideration a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number B 2025-905 as amended relating to the operating budget of the county of Kauai, state of Hawaii for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 by revising the amounts estimated in the general fund to cover $130,000 of additional costs associated with the external auditor's work to complete the county's annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year 2024.
Move to receive.
Second?
This is the memo that has the accompanying bill. I'll take any testimony on the bill at this time if anyone's interested in testifying. With that, I'll suspend the rules, Mr. Psychos. And your testimony will be inserted into the bill.
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. The public watches with great concern that the county has demonstrated that it lacks the ability, the capacity. I'm not dogging them. The reality that we have a very hard time hiring professionals. And so this issue that we're dealing with, which is the council receiving the ACFR and other such things, delayed primarily because we have insufficient staff to process all of this data and prepare the reports. I'm not dogging the staff at all because we have a significant lack of manpower. So I commend the council and the administration for using a third party to hire a contractor to help us complete this report. The reason I'm up here now is that we're completing the report from last year. We're not completing the report from this year. And so we have to complete last year's report in order to be in compliance with law, but it doesn't do you any good designing the next budget. And so should we have an agenda item here as soon as possible coming out of committee that we should be hiring a external company right now to help us digest 2025's numbers? I mean, I would encourage the council to move forward and get ahead of the game. It's unlikely we can hire the personnel and train them in time to do this, even if we could hire them. And so shouldn't we right now be getting somebody to come in, and so that next, not this upcoming budget, but the following budget, you'll have the current numbers? So my suggestion, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I'll call a meeting back to order. Any further discussion?
I just have a comment on what Mr. Psychos had asked. That did get asked last time, Mr. Psychos, and it takes almost as much time to train the consultant and bring them up to speed as it does to a new person that we have. So we do have a difficult situation, and your point is really well noted, and we're already pushing hard for how are we going to fix this, because we can't normalize the problem.
Anyone else? Yeah, I'll just follow up with that. I think that was what my point I made extremely loud and clear last week, is the fact that this council, we are here to fund whatever resources are needed by the administration to complete these audits on time. We rely on the administration to tell us what they need. We can hire, we need to know what we need to hire. And I'm hoping that we will see a request coming from the administration shortly on what resources they need. I'd love to do it even before the budget process, like you said. But we need to know what they need. And this council, I know I can speak for all of them, is willing to fund it, because we agree that it's a serious issue, and it needs to be resolved immediately. So, point well taken.
And I have a question for you. I think we said last time, but why do we need an extra $130,000? Why, since the budget is, since the ACFR is done, why do we need that extra? I don't remember why we needed more money. Maybe committee chair Kaneshiro remembers. Why do we need another $130,000 for what we?
It was a change order on the auditor's end because we took long to get them the information, so it took them longer to do the audit.
Okay, so it's just.
It was based on the late audit.
Okay.
They normally have about 3 federal programs that they have to dig into, and they had 8, so it was significantly more work.
Yeah, correct. They also mentioned they had those additional programs they had to look into, which took more time.
Because we are now a high-risk entity, the numbers of federal programs that need to be audited double.
Okay, that's right. I remember we did talk about all that.
This is on us. This is on us. This isn't a change order because the auditor's rates went up. It's more work, costs more money, and that's why it is in the best interest of this county to get these audits out on time. I don't know how I can stress that more. With that, any further discussion? Seeing none, this is just a motion to receive. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next item, please.
C2026-19, communication from the Director of Finance transmitting for council information the second quarter statement of equipment purchases for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 pursuant to Section 22 of the Ordinance B 2025-905 as amended relating to the operating budget of the County of Kauai for the fiscal year 25-26.
Move to approve.
Move to
Or receive, sorry.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C 2026-20, communication from the Director of Parks and Recreation requesting council approval to apply for, receive, and expend state funds in the amount of $200,000 and approval of the indemnification clause and cost of litigation provisions included in the agreement with the State of Hawaii Department of Agriculture to combat invasive coconut rhinoceros beetle on Kauai by focusing on improving green waste processing systems via the purchase of a portable air curtain burner.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or public testimony?
I have a quick question for Pat.
Okay, with that, I will suspend the rules. Mr. Porter?
This is, I thought we were going to get this money last year, right? Weren't we getting this money last year?
Mm-hmm.
So is this a different pot of money? So this is a fresh pot of money? And last year it was going to be anywhere on the island, but this time it's specifically for parks?
Yeah, so Pat Porter, Director Parks. So last year's money, we didn't receive last year's money. We missed the deadline. There was a confusion on the deadline to apply, and so we're coming back now and we're applying for the same grant as last year through the Department of Ag.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then, so everything, we've got all the deadlines, everything is done right this time?
That's right, yeah, we're coming now, so we get it all squared away.
Okay, and then when are we likely to get this money?
I'm not sure, but it's within, this money is within this current fiscal year's DOA budget for grants, so.
Okay, so that would start in June, end of June, or July?
No, that's next fiscal, so this is current fiscal.
Oh, the current fiscal, so we might be able to get it this
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that, and then, do we have outlined which parks that we are looking to do and our strategy?
So our main focus right now is Wailuo Golf Course because of the condition of Wailuo Golf Course. We don't have much CRB activity in our parks so far, cross our fingers.
Okay,
So we're going to focus on Wailua, and then we'll also use it, so for green waste that comes from other parks, we can concentrate in one place where the curtain burner will be.
and when I was driving to work this morning, I couldn't help but notice that Kauai Beach Resort, the palm trees there are like really looking pretty exhausted. That seems like that's happened relatively quickly. I mean, that they're really evident right now. And so, are we able to, how do we deal with something right on the edge of what we have? Can they just be all growing right there, you know, all the coconut rhinoceros beetles right there? And is there any way that we work with are we partnering with our neighbors?
So this is the way I look at it now. The condition we have on Kauai is it's island-wide already. Eradication is probably not feasible. Well, it's not feasible for the island of Kauai. So what every property owner, landowner, government entity that manages land needs to do is they need to take care of their lands and control their lands. And if everybody does that, then that's the best approach that we can take. But that's the level we're at on Kauai.
Okay, and I just want to acknowledge that by trade you're an arborist, so you know something about this, correct?
A little bit.
A little bit. All right.
Councilmember Holland?
Thank you, Councilmember Collin. I just wanted to expand a little bit about that. Patrick, our Director Porter, is so very gracious to take the responsibility of missing that deadline, but I would like to explain that the Department of Agriculture has changed staffing about 3 times this year in the leadership that I'm working with to try to negotiate these things. And I honestly don't feel like it was our team's fault on this county end. I feel like there was a mix-up with the managers of the grants and the lack of communication to our team. And so, Director Porter and the Office of Economic Development and our mayor's team jumped to responding to that application and did so, and then missed a deadline we were never notified about. So I just want to clarify that I feel like they've done a really wonderful job at trying to get that money. I also want to expand a little bit on what you said. Everything.
I just want to start, if you have any questions for Pat, well, we can do the discussion when we're done with.
No, no questions for Pat.
Any more questions for Pat? If not, thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to testify? Mr. Cycles?
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. Thank you for the explanation about the failure to get the grant application in time. As one who worked for over a decade closely with Department of Ag's export branch, I can appreciate that when personnel change, and particularly with the economic upsets that we've had, that the continuity within the department gets interrupted, and then we all know it flows downhill. So we accept that and not an issue, but I do have an issue with why it was that we didn't decide to spend $200,000 of our own money, which to me is a lot of money, but to the county is not a lot of money. And so why is it that we didn't go ahead and purchase this thing on our own? And I also have the question of, it would be nice to see a visual representation of what we're being asked to buy. And given that both state law and federal law prohibits us from creating certain types of air pollution, which means we no longer can burn our leaves and our pala in the backyard, right? How is it that this fire curtain is legal to kill the bugs, and how do I kill them in my backyard? Because you don't kill the eggs running it through a mulching machine. And so mulching it's not the total solution. And so since we can't burn, what do? I'm helping somebody right now who had a palm tree die in their yard. And so I took the top of the tree out, and it's completely rot like sewage, so there are no insects in that. But I got 12 feet of trunk that conceivably has CRB in it, and what do I do with it? Right? I take it to green waste, and I just put in CRB in the green waste, and I can't burn it. Well, I got to split the log and go buy diazinon and soak the log with I mean, it'd be against the law to soak it with Clorox, which is almost free, but it's a misuse of the product, right? And the federal law covers that. So to do it legally, I got to go buy malathion or something. So we need to come up with, what do we do with our green waste that's contaminated, greater than telling me I need to go buy a $200,000 flame enclosure deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public testimony? Seeing none, I'll call a meeting back to order. Councilmember Holland.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So just a couple things that I want to wrap up from Councilmember Kaua, and then I wanted to speak a little bit more about this. But so you're right about KBR, noticing that damage. It is kind of expanding. As you drive to work next, look to your left as you cross Hanama'ulu Bridge, and you'll notice every single tree in the valley is catching cracks.
Yeah, seeing that.
The state highway right-of-way, all of those palms, some of them are already dead and need to be removed. I brought that up with biosecurity control at DOT this week. You're absolutely right. It's spreaded pretty expansive from the golf course through to us.
And the airport welcoming space.
Yes, and the hala actually in that area has been nailed. This is a really important, and it has been very frustrating that the money fell through last year, because we had hoped that that was already moving. We did discuss how to reallocate money right away, and have been putting pressure back on DOA, and so that's why this opportunity has come forward to apply for even a little bit more money. For anybody that's looking to burn and needs to burn, I have been helping people fast track burn permits to the DOH. You just have to have the presence of beetle. So the Department of Ag guy comes out, he confirms you have beetles, and you can kind of get that permit moving. So I'm happy to assist in any way on that. I am not an expert on this machine, but I do believe that because of the enclosed nature of it and the filtering of it, it is not an open burn situation. So that's a little bit different. And there are more conversations that we're having about green waste. a lot of people are confused that when they first cut the coconut tree, that those fronds are somewhat of a risk to spread CRB, and they're not. It's the piles that have been sitting for months at a time. These beetles are larvae from 5 to 7 months, so you have a very long window that they're breeding. And at that point, and we're actually going to discuss it on a later item, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. But if anybody does have questions about what the options are, I've gone down pretty much every single rabbit hole, and I'm happy to support in any way.
So I have a short question for you. That $200,000, I guess I have two questions on that $200,000. Is that going to be almost entirely consumed on this fire curtain?
Yes, I believe they're over 150,000.
And then I just want to acknowledge that Mr. Psychos had a reasonable question, especially when we see that we were 13 million over from last year, and when we have excess money, it would be nice if we are able, I mean, it's great to get it from the state, but this is a crisis, as we've discussed many times, and so if we are able to be able to apply it, if we have some extra money, well, let's do it.
Yeah, Director Porter and I have been talking about that extensively, and yes, we're on the same page.
All right.
Anyone else? If not, the motion is to approve. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next item, please.
Chair, next item is on page 4, C2026-21, communication from the fire chief requesting council approval of the indemnity provisions contained in the Davenport Aviation Incorporated purchase agreement required to purchase an Airbus H-145D twin-engine helicopter, fully customized and equipped for search and rescue, wildland aerial firefighting, and disaster response operations.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. I have a question, and I think it might be more for the attorney, but I'll suspend the rules, and we can have the fire department and our county attorney up, because I don't recall ever seeing this kind of language in an indemnification agreement. And I apologize, just reading this morning. But it says, and it's a general provision, but it says buyer, which is the county, shall be responsible for loss or injury to buyer's property, which would be the helicopter, employees, representatives, or agents at all times while at seller's facility, which is, I guess, wherever they make this helicopter, when transition or maintenance training is a reason for such time spent at the seller's facility. That is the first question. What does that mean? Yeah, so when transition or maintenance training is a reason for such time spent at the seller's facility.
Good morning. I'm Adam Hassier, Captain of the Kauai Fire Department. Part of the purchase is that there's an including training at the Airbus facility. Okay. So they're going to do, whoever's going to be in charge of the maintenance on the helicopter is going to go to the Airbus facility. Okay. And actually do training over there.
Okay, so that makes sense. But the second part, where it says, furthermore, buyer shall hold seller and its employees and agents harmless for any such loss or injury, regardless of cause or fault. Is that standard in our indemnification? In other words, if the helicopter company, the manufacturer, causes the injury, damage, death, that we are saying you're off the hook? That's what I read, and I'm just trying to understand if that's not standard in my mind.
It's Tyler Saito, County Attorney. It is a broader standard, but it for the most part is standard. It's hold harmless language is to release liability.
But regardless of cause or fault is what concerns me. If it's their fault, if they damage our helicopter or they cause our maintenance employees to get injured, then we hold them harmless?
Yes, it is a broader term.
Okay, I can tell you right now, I'm not approving this. I'm not going to vote for it because that scares me. I'm just going to vote no, but I'm just curious if we have I have never caught this before, so I don't remember, because I think I would have caught it in any of our indemnification agreements. The regardless of fault is where I'm stuck.
And I think the way to look at it is on a greater scheme, like what is the risk in this happening at a training facility? I don't know what is going to be conducted at those facilities. If it's a low risk, and you can take that into context as well.
Councilmember Kaua, question?
Well, yes, I want to support the chair's perspective, and then when I see more and more of this happening across different types of companies and industries, when they're just like, hey, we don't want to have any fault here, that's a problem. So like, what that would mean, even if, say, a bolt broke when they're rotating the helicopter, I've known of 2 people who, you know, had their own helicopters companies, and they've gotten cut up by that blade, you know. So it's actually, you know, based on real things happening. I don't know who was at fault in those cases, but I do know what happened, what the outcome was. So if people could get hurt in a training, right?
If I could just also, I don't know, you know, these are all hypothetical scenarios, right? Simply, the term itself is simply acknowledging, right, that county could be liable, but it doesn't mean that the county would automatically be liable under these circumstances if something were to give rise.
But if who wouldn't be liable is the manufacturer of the helicopter.
Again, it's very fact specific, right? We don't know how it would play out. It would simply be that we have contractually agreed to this, but as a practical point of view, right, it would not mean that we are automatically liable for it.
Well, it means that we automatically hold them harmless. That's what it says. That's for any such loss or injury. I would be more comfortable, Tyler, if you could take a look at this deeper.
Yeah.
And come back to us in
Sure.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the industry standard. Maybe that's how Airbus operates. But I mean, and it doesn't even have to be an injury or a death. It could be the trainer screws up and damages that helicopter, and then that just makes no sense. I mean, indemnification is if, you know, we screw it up, then we hold them harmless. And I don't want to hold this up either, but I also don't want to put this county in a position where we are putting ourselves in a, those things aren't cheap. This isn't a vehicle. This is a helicopter that's like millions of dollars, so I'm a little concerned. So fire department, is a 2-week-old gonna create an issue for you guys? Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
2 weeks would make a difference?
It's possible.
Chair, can we take it up at the end of the agenda, and I can take it?
Yeah, let's just move this to the end of the agenda, and then Tyler can go do his magic. Okay, thank you.
I would just add that we have a line item in the statement of equipment of purchases from earlier. New twin-engine helicopter, $2.745 million.
Yeah, that's the lease payment.
That's the lease payment.
That's the lease payment. That's not the cost.
It's a $16 million
7-year
purchase.
lease,
Yeah,
$16 million.
It was
And I fully support it, and I don't want to hold it up, but I also, again, only because I've never seen this before, where it says regardless of cause or fault. I've never seen that in an indemnification agreement. So
vaccine.
Tyler, if you can go do some research, and then we'll take this up at the end of the.
Are we discussing?
I mean, we could also, Clerk, we could also post a special council meeting item for next week. I mean, that's not what we normally do, but if 1 week would be okay. Again, I'm only speaking for myself. The others might be okay with this, and we can have the discussion. And if they're okay with it, then we can move it. I'm okay. I'm not going to hurt my feelings by disagreeing. But I feel really uncomfortable.
And my question would be, Tyler, or prosecuting attorneys like the, can we check? You know, can we negotiate this with them? I mean, it is a very big, and just to ask. And where is this Airbus place that would be the training center? Because one for him and one for you, but I'll ask Tyler's first, and then Captain Hussey.
I'll have to look into the terms itself, and I can get back to you.
Because maybe they're just riffing and trying to get away with anything they can, you know, because that happens. So if we say, hey, you know what, maybe we got a problem, maybe they'll go, oh, okay, we don't have to put it in there.
Okay, so we'll take this up at the end of the agenda.
And I have a simple question for Captain Hussey. Where's the Airbus location?
The Airbus location is Mississippi.
Mississippi?
Yes.
And so how many people would we be sending over? We'd send a couple few at one time, or one,
I believe it's 2 or 3.
2 or 3? All right, couple few. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Great.
Mr. Psychos?
For the record, Bonnie Psychos. So I am someone who has lived in a county that went through this whole process and purchased a twin-engine helicopter, and I can personally attest to the value of it. What I am upset about is how unprepared the fire department was to come before you as if they don't understand that the decision to spend these millions of dollars ultimately is that the public supports this. And we support things that we're honestly told about. So when you show up and say, well, I'm not sure about this detail, I'm not sure about that detail, you lose your support. And I want to thank Mel very, very much, because that's what I'm up here to say, is given the language in this indemnity clause, and I'm not a lawyer, but it would appear to me that as an example, if they give us a helicopter that has a component in it that's a counterfeit part, which occurs all the time in helicopters, that we're holding them harmless, and if it were to go to trial, they could say we had no idea, we had no way to know that the part was counterfeit, and thus we absorb all the liability. Helicopters, according to every single helicopter pilot I've ever flown with, is best described as an Oster blender upside down with you hanging underneath it. It's the most dangerous thing you can go up in the air in. And so the liability in this is an extremely real issue.
I just want to, hang on, stop this time. I just want to make sure you understand that the indemnification is not for...
So unclear, and can leave us with not just the liability of our own people that get injured, but whoever's on the ground that the helicopter falls on. This is a huge amount of liability we're taking on. And I fully support the fire department wanting to get a better helicopter. Fully support it, but not under these legal terms. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hart?
For the record, Bruce Hart. I'm not a lawyer. I'm kind of glad of the experiences I've been through. But, you know, let's say that I run an automotive shop and I invite the council over to tour my automotive shop. And I asked you all to sign a waiver similar to this one. And you can look in from the outside of my automotive shop and there are cars suspended up on support systems. There's tools all over the floor. You know, it's a mess. You know, I'm not going in there. I'm not signing this waiver. I can't ask, as the owner of this automotive shop, for you to come onto my property when it is obviously dangerous. It wouldn't matter what I asked you to sign, I would still be liable for negligence. Okay, so that's one side I see of it. But I am in support of Chair for taking up this issue with somebody who is an attorney and does know what could happen. I'm sure that this company keeps a tight shop, but the way it's worded, at the very least, I see that if something did happen, it would be a greater hurdle for us to overcome to prove negligence on their part. So I don't like the wording either. And maybe this company has had some bad experiences in the past, and they want to try and cover those. But I can assure you that they must have their own attorneys, and I don't think it's out of line that Tyler might end up discussing this with their attorneys, and that then would clarify it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the meeting back to order. Is there any further discussion? We'll take this up at the end of the agenda. No, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I appreciate you bringing this up. I want to acknowledge that, I strongly support this as well, but I also have concerns with these kind of things, and I'm particularly concerned about this increase that we're seeing in indemnity. And just this week, we saw in the U.S. Supreme Court pick up the case of Bayer to give them complete indemnity for all impacts associated in perpetuity, even though they proved that they knew. So these kind of things do also concern me, and I really appreciate you bringing it up.
Anyone else? If not, if there's no objection, we'll move this to the end of the calendar. Thank you. Next item, please.
C2026-22, communication from the Director of Finance, transmitting for council consideration a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 5A, Hōʻike Community Media 1987 as amended, relating to real property tax, enabling the Director to inspect and examine any real property in the county to attain information needed for real property assessments, and to expressly provide the Director with the authority to promulgate rules with retroactive effect.
Received.
Okay. Oh,
yeah. Okay, this is just the memo that the bill is attached.
I'm wondering if I can request that we do this in executive session?
This is just a communication.
Okay,
This is not the bill.
So I'll ask that.
We'll come up to the bill.
Okay, because I have a lot of questions.
Okay. Yeah, this is just a communication. If there's any, but I will take public testimony if anyone wants to now and not have to wait for the bill. Seeing none, the motion is to receive. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C2026-23, communication from the Director of Parks and Recreation, transmitting for council consideration proposed draft bills to amend ordinance numbers B2025-905 and B2025-906 for fiscal year 26 by revising the amounts estimated in the general fund and the general fund CIP necessary to purchase and acquire property located at 6151 Kauai Road in Kapa'a, TMK number 446011055.
Move to receive.
Second.
Again, this is the memo that is attached to the bill. If anyone wants to testify on the bills here, I'll allow it. If not, we can wait for the bill. Any discussion? Motion is to receive. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C2026-24, communication from the Director of Parks and Recreation, transmitting for council approval a donation of in-kind services from Mr. Lance's team to steam treat 8 green waste mulch piles totaling approximately 262 cubic yards at an estimated value of $11,790, which will be used at the Wailua Golf Course for the purpose of controlling the coconut rhinoceros beetle.
Move to approve with the thank you letter to Mr. Landstein.
second.
Okay, move that second in. Is Councilmember Holly?
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I actually have Mr. Lance here today to answer any questions that the council may have. And I have a few photos that are going to be going down of just kind of what this is.
You expect this to go beyond half an hour?
No way.
Okay.
I hope not, unless you guys have a lot of questions.
No, I just want to, because we have these that involves a presentation. I'd rather just take up the caption break early and then have uninterrupted time. But if you can get it done before 10:30, we're fine.
Yeah, I don't believe so. I just wanted to, first of all, thank Mr. Lance for being here and for doing this for the county. This is an incredible service that we are learning can treat the larval stage of the beetle, like we discussed kind of earlier. And so this steam technology that he's bought this really specific biosecurity machine, and it's specialized for this. And we're kind of working to establish almost a bait trap system. And Lance was offering in donation this first use, but in the future we're hoping that we can actually create a site where we are encouraging the beetles on the golf course to breed, and then going after their life cycle and cutting their life cycle off by sterilizing that pile every 3 to 4 months, ensuring that they never reach maturity. So if anybody did have questions, either for Director Porter or for Mr. Lance and his assistant Ken, we have them here. So I just wanted to provide that.
Okay, I would like to have Lance and Ken on up, if possible.
Can you gentlemen just come up? Lance, if you want to just sit in this middle chair, and then Ken, you could sit right here next to him. To speak, you just have to tap the little button at the front and turn that light green.
And you start by saying your name and, your position.
Lance Thomas with Mr. Lance's team. Ken Juan Nichols with Mr. Lance's team.
All right, first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much. And then I'm not trying to correct you, I just want to clarify. When we were talking about the larvae, and I will own that I've had the honor of being able to be at least a couple of the ones that you've done, so thank you so much. It doesn't just get the larvae, right? It gets from the egg to the pupa to the larvae, and so you could push the button and maybe just give us a very simple explanation, and then if you, however Vern wants to bring this forward, but I really want to hear from you guys.
Absolutely. Lance Thomas, Mr. Lance's team. Our steam treatment does, in fact, eradicate them from the egg stage all the way to the beetle stage. And we've done a lot of research, so to speak. Everything that I've been able to, that I'm going to actually speak about, I've actually done with my own hands. So none of this is from Google. None of this is from ChatGPT. This is me putting my hands in the soil and actually seeing what we're up against. So the company was, pretty much created, out of a real concern for what's happening. I have a fruit orchard in Moloa'a right now, so I'm fearful for my trees, but I'm also fearful for the island. I'm not from here, I'm from New York City. So for me, I know very little about coconut trees, but I'm a student of life, and I ask questions. I don't think there is a such thing as a stupid question. So I'm not here to say what we should and shouldn't do with coconut trees. But I am here to say that a lot of people have been looking up instead of looking down. And looking down means that not everybody here has a coconut tree on their property, but everybody has some type of green waste on their property. And people can be a part of the problem and not even know it. So for us, we try to give people a solution that actually is effective and actually instantly. I think there has been a lot of frustration from a lot of our clients that we've had for, they find the larva, they find the beetle, they call the number they're supposed to call, they report it, but then there's no follow-up. So as of recent, I would say, at least the last 6 months that I've been working in this, a lot of people have been withholding information just because there's no follow-up action. What our process is, just to kind of explain it, because it sounds pretty vague, so I'll give you a quick explanation. So basically, heating up the bottom of the pile is the most important. The larvae are going to be at the bottom of the pile, where in the mulch pile, green waste, whatever may have you. And in one of our demonstrations, which Felicia was actually there, I do. So the first time I fired up the machine was with the community. I didn't do any trials in private. The machine got there, and we went right to work. So for us, it was more about showing the community that it works before I even think about asking anyone for a dime. And then the next day, we actually went to the golf course, and we actually get results that actually were exactly what we wanted. But for me, I'm a numbers guy, right? So I look at all the headlines and all the information being placed about the beetle now, and I haven't seen anything that talks about the numbers in which they spread. So I'll give you a quick model that kind of explains it. So 10 larvae undetected, given that half are female, half are male. Over the course of 2 years, right, I'm playing the long game. How do we live with these things? Over the course of 2 years, that's 25,000 eggs. Now, the average infested pile has way more than 10 larvae in it. And I'll go to the golf course with my experience there. We've had the pleasure of working with Dan and everyone over there to help organize 8 piles for us. The green waste is all over the place. We said, hey, the best way that we can be effective over here is to have these piles organized so that we can maximize our time, our efficiency with our system. So we bring the dogs, and we're digging with shovels, just with our hands and shovels, not even excavators at this point. Our dogs are alerting us that they're there, and we're digging out at least 50 plus larvae in each pile, right? So, to my understanding, there's way more than that in there. That was just what we were able to do with a shovel, right? So, based on that model, that 2-year model of how these numbers spread, right? If each pile has 200 larvae in it, so to speak, right? That 200 larvae left undetected over 2 years is 500,000 eggs egulating, right? You times that by 8, that's 4 million, right? So now we're looking at the amount of beetle pressure that the golf course alone has endured over the course of 2 years, which is in the millions, right? So what we have been able to do is find a way to attack where the numbers are. The numbers are in the green waste piles. The numbers are in these compost piles. And to be able to offer a solution that is 100% clean, 0 chemicals, and I think that this is actually one of those weird instances where the most effective and most instant results is actually a non-toxic result, a non-toxic approach. So once we take off the tarp, we dig through to confirm our results and to make sure that they're dead. And then from there, it's about a maintenance, right? So we try to maintain it from, every 3 months to break in half the larval cycle, which is they're larval longer than their beetles. So basically, every 3 months we come and treat the pile just to ensure that even if beetles actually come back to, this pile, which the steam is not a deterrent, that we're cutting their life cycle in half and ensuring that no beetles come out. So, regardless of whatever treatments have been done at the golf course, you're not giving the treatments a chance to work just from the sheer number of beetle pressure that has been attacking those trees just over the course of 2 years. So it's tough to see. And what the reality is the beetles don't have a natural predator here. They're nocturnal, so there's nothing actually actively seeking them. I am the natural predator. I'm literally going after every mulch pile. Every day I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm literally looking for where are the numbers on this island? Where can we actually go and put a dent in where these numbers are actually spreading? So from there, I'm just, again, grateful to be of service to the community, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Natural predator. You said they're larvae longer than their beetles. So what's the lifespan of these things?
So depending on, I would say, the conditions that present itself, whether it's summer, whether it be in the rain season, that kind of like we're in now, it could be anywhere from 5 to 7 months that they are in their larval state. Excuse me. But as beetles, they might only be a beetle for maybe 5 months. So their life cycle is anywhere from, I would say, 14 to 17 months. Given the scope, but the beautiful thing that nature has presented us with is that we have over half a year, to actually find them while they're just squirming around and actually creating black gold in most people's mulch piles. These things are amazing, decomposers. But we have 6 months to be able to locate as many of these sites as possible, and then we can actually have, we keep a lot of data, right? So once we actually steam a pile, now we have a timer on this pile. This pile is at 0 now, right? So we're not going to a random pile not knowing where they are. Those things could hatch in 2 weeks in a random pile. It could be 2 months. We are keeping tabs of all the data to where every pile that we've treated, we have a definitive start date for that pile, and we're able to maintain it to ensure that beetles don't come out of these piles.
Interesting. Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Connoisseur?
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I've been hearing a lot about your guys' work. As far as the piles, what is the maximum size? So if people call and they say, I've got a mulch pile, how big of a pile can you handle, or just as for an idea?
Absolutely. Great question. We can handle a lot of volume. We're going to be able to, as long as we have a specific dimension that we're working with now, I'm working with the actual manufacturer of the machine to get some custom things, just because we're attacking this from a different solution. It's not, these tarp sizes essentially are what matter when it comes to steaming a pile. So the steam tarp that we have now is 100 feet long by 24 feet wide. But we've cut that one in half, and now we just made it 50 by 24s, just because most piles are not that big. But the issue that, with most of the piles, the temperature is actually even throughout the pile, because that's very important. There's a lot of cool pockets within the pile if it's not distributed evenly. So we've had our our bumps and bruises as far as the R&D phase, but we're very confident with, our solution now, and we've been able to help a lot of people now, and people are grateful for the service. So,
thank you for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Collins?
I was happy to be at the golf course too when you pulled that off, so we got to see success.
Absolutely.
And we were definitely looking at less than perfect success the day before, and you guys utilized the right things. I think you've gone back to that original farm and steamed it there. How many steamers do you have now? Just one, or do you have more than that?
I have 2 currently, and I have 3 more that will be on their way here. I already spoke with the manufacturer. They're already going to be ordered. They're a worldwide, distributor, so their assembly line is pretty, extensive. But again, I spoke with him, and he's been able to expedite some of those things. So we're expecting 3 more. One of them being a bigger machine. The one that we currently have now is an SF20, which is a 20 horsepower steam generator. The biggest one that we'll be able to get that can still be mobile is a 50 horsepower one that we're going to be able to use. And it puts out a lot more steam. So we can actually, continue to take on more volume, but faster, just from the amount that we do now. But the amount of volume doesn't really matter. As long as we can, use some excavators or whatever machinery to organize the piles in these specific dimensions. Doesn't matter how many of them there are. We'll just, be diligent.
So on this particular line item, when we have 8 piles, how many days does that take you to do it?
8 piles. I would say that may take us 3, maybe 4 days, just to be pretty thorough. Because we also still like to check, so we're not just steaming going to the next pile. We actually want to dig to make sure that it's doing what we're doing. Because if not, we have to adjust our approach, maybe steam it longer. So, given the fact that we like to be thorough, I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 days.
Okay, so I'll hold any other questions till after we see whatever presentation is here. I do want to acknowledge I have given your name and information to so many different people, and I haven't heard of one complaint. They've all been very happy.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Okay. So there's not actually a presentation. He just had some photos.
Okay.
But because we're talking, it's not allowing us to go back and forth. So.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it would be interesting to see the larvae. Because it's been really fun watching it. Can I plug them that they're going to be at the Hawaii Farmers Union on Monday?
So I think if we just stop talking for a second, we can show them. But it's just a couple pictures, and then we're going to go right back to questions.
Okay.
You got to hit your mic again.
Sorry about that. So these right here are photos of them after a steam treatment. So these are dead larvae and dead beetles from us digging through the pile after we were done. So most of these are third instar larvae, which are very close to going into the pupae state before they turn into beetles. And it doesn't matter the size of the beetle, the grub or the beetle and any eggs, they don't make it.
There's also a beetle in the back. Kenwan Nichols. There's also a beetle in the top of that.
Yeah.
This photo here is from where it all began. Our first trial was at Moloa Organica, where we were unsuccessful. And we had the pleasure of going back and Ned allowed us to come back and, do a treatment again. So again, these are a lot of third instar larvae here. There's more beetles in this one as well. So he was very excited about the results, and so are we. And this one's self-explanatory. They didn't make it.
I know you talked about when you treat a pile and then it's clean. How long before you have to go treat it again?
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking. So once we treat a pile, the pile is hot, but it's not a deterrent at all. Like if a beetle decides to fly over there in the next few days, they don't know it was steam. So the reason that we set up our quarterly, we call it our quarterly maintenance, is our step 3 in our 3-step process to mitigate these things. We go every 3 months. And every 3 months is basically cutting in half the larval state that they're in, just because we don't want them to even get close to, having a chance to become a beetle.
Thank you.
Mr. Consigliere?
Then, while we're on TV, can you provide your contact info if anybody's interested, your phone number or what, if anyone's interested in your service?
Absolutely. Thank you. Again, my name is Lance Thomas with Mr. Lance's team. Our website is mrlancesteam.com. Our phone number is 808-855-7683. Again, we offer a 3-step process to help with the coconut rhinoceros beetle. Step 1 would be canine detection. So we have 2 dogs that can come on site to inspect piles, to give us an alert. We also have the Conservation Dogs of Hawaii, which is what my dogs were trained under. That's a nonprofit from Oahu that came over and helped train our dogs. We also have a website that, you can get the canine inspection for free given the timing of it. With our step 1, it's more, we can come the next day. So that's kind of what ours is, but we work in tandem. Step 2 would be the steaming of the pile. In step 1, we would actually go and measure the pile, take detailed information and metrics, and we charge by the cubic yard. So step 2 would be that, and step 3 would be the quarterly maintenance that we just talked about, coming every 3 months just to ensure that we can eliminate whatever's in that pile so that no beetles emerge. Thank you.
Mr. Kaua.
Just clarification on the pile, in an actual pile part. So you cover it with a tarp part of it, and then the steaming actually takes, just so I'm clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was rushing through it. I know we're tight on time, so I was just trying to speed everything up. So just to give you perspective, so if we're walking up to a mulch pile with, let's just say 30 feet long, in those dimensions that I mentioned, we run Schedule 40 piping at the bottom of the pile, and we've designed a specific pattern on the Schedule 40 piping so that once it's on the ground, it's going to be the length of the pile to ensure. So think of a pile like super long like this. We're running 2 of them through the entire pile all the way to the end, and then we tarp the pile. So what's happening is we cap the end of the steel pipe that's underneath it so that the steam only can come out of the holes that we have patterned. So that actually has been very effective for us because it increases the amount of pressure that the steam is coming out of, which if the holes are actually laying flat on the ground, that pressure is going straight into the ground. So even if a larva thinks it got away, the amount of pressure that's coming about there, we've been able to see success up to about 4 to 6 inches. In some cases, when we steamed a lot longer, up to 6 to 8 inches into the ground. So ones that thought they got away, we dug a little bit deeper and they didn't make it.
Good.
I'm embarrassed that I'm forgetting the name of the steaming company. Who are they?
Yes. They're the Sioux Corporation out of South Dakota, and I flew out there to take a meeting with the CEO. This was before I even got the machine. I went there and I requested a meeting with him, and I wanted to talk to him just because of what was actually happening here. I asked him, I really need a machine. This is getting out of control, and he didn't really understand, the metrics of what was happening. So I showed him some video, showed him some photos, and I was like, please, I don't think I can leave your office without a guarantee that I can get a machine. And he spoke with some of his counterparts, and he agreed to move us up on the assembly line and get us a machine. And then for the demonstrations that we did at Moloa Organica and also at the golf course, the CEO and his right hand also flew out here and were a part of the demonstrations as well. So they're taking this issue very seriously and have been very generous with everything. And if there's anything that we need, they said that we can call them. And if something needs to be customly made or if something needs to be overnight shipped, they can get it to us. So we developed a great relationship with the leader in steam technology. So we're super grateful to have them as an ally in our fight against the beetle. They're really big into biosecurity and a number of things. So the fact that we can just pick up the phone and speak to their CEO whenever we need something is an amazing thing. So thank you so much.
Yes, and he was happy to share with you like all the different things like they do feedlots, and there's so many. I had the benefit of having him on my radio show because it was so interesting. So it's not like it's just specific for this. This is something. It's correct. I'm asking for clarification that they call it sterilizing. They sterilize the soil for all kinds of big ag, all kinds of elements, and then when it actually happens one pile, then another pile, and it has a chance to rebuild the microorganisms afterwards. It does kill the microorganisms.
Absolutely. The term that they actually use, they corrected me as well. It's pasteurization of the soil.
Okay.
So it's basically, you know, the same thing that we do with the milk. So what they do, they are their machines are bios. Every immigration place, all of our border control places, if, you know, those dogs that are coming around and they find something that's not supposed to be here, they actually make their way towards one of these steam generators, and they, you know, it gets sterilized or, you know, taken apart. But for what they also have told us what the machines can do, the machines are also very effective against guinea grass, and we're actually doing that as well. Currently, we're running, you know, tests on, you know, how to be effective in every area, right? As far as, you know, properties and all these things, those are easy. We lay the tarp down, you know, and we can easily wipe out guinea grass. But, you know, we're really coming up with a specific, you know, solution for, you know, in tight areas, let's just say railways or walkways or things along the highway. We're experimenting with that in my local neighborhood. So super excited about, you know, what we're being able to find with that. But again, there's so many solutions that STEAM can handle, and we're, you know, here to help in any way we can.
And it's correct that you're going to be at the Hawaii Farmers Union meeting on this Monday. At what time, and is it, and where? So if people can come, especially people who are in the ag industry, or if people have large plots of land, where can they come to? And then I realize I have one final question.
Yes. So this Monday, the meeting will be with the Kauai Farmers Union.
Hawaii.
Yeah, it's Hawaii. It is, but it's the Kauai chapter.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we're going to be at the Common Ground property, and I believe that's at 4:30 on Monday.
In Kilauea.
Yes, in Kilauea, and we're going to be there. I'm a guest speaker there to speak more about, you know, more in depth on some of the things that I was talking here. Again, I know I'm tight on time, so.
Are you going to have a STEAM happening then?
I'm trying to. I'm waiting to see if I can, but if I get the permission from the, you know, from the land to do it, absolutely.
Because I think that's the best sales point. And then as a person who, you know, is concerned about my own yard, and I'm somebody who's a permaculturist, so that really wants to keep the stuff on the ground, but I have I'm a third of an acre. I'm never going to have a pile this size. Mm-hmm. Are you guys thinking about some little junior?
We can easily take care of the small pile, so if you need us, just call me.
Okay.
If you can take care of guinea grass, pal, you're going to be a billionaire, man, right now. That is, you know, I mean, the CRB is a crisis. But the guinea grass is an issue, and I hope that you can figure out a way to steam them and kill them.
Absolutely.
Not just knock them down, but,
no, we're trying to get them out of there.
That thing is crazy. I'm just curious, and I had to step out at the beginning of your testimony, so you may have mentioned it, but what got you interested in these beetles? I mean, and you said that was the first time you cranked up the machine. And I appreciate the transparency, man. That goes a long way here. Mm-hmm. But maybe you mentioned it. I wasn't here, but what the heck got you interested in this beetle? And
well, again, I saw what they were coming here to do. I saw what happened in Oahu. And there's no way that I wanted to allow that to happen here. You know, if it happens and I swung, you know, and I scratched and clawed and tried my best not to make it happen, I can look in the mirror and say I tried. But to sit back and be someone who has the resources and the means to actually do something about it, I couldn't just sit back and allow it to happen. So I just wanted to, you know, do my part, do my research, reach out to the right people and get pointed in the right direction. But the best way to, I feel like, really understand something is to go about it with experience, right? So everything that I mentioned to you guys, I've been able to do with my bare hands. I've dug through every type of mulch pile, green waste, compost. I've broken open a bunch of coconut logs. I know exactly where they're at. I know what the signs look like. I know what the instars look like. I know I'm learning, and these is all from just experience of me just doing it. I know what they do at night. I'm digging piles at night. I have data for what they do when we're supposed to be sleeping. So for me, it's a passion, you know, of mine, just because I call this place home now. right? So I'm going to treat it as such. Just because I'm from New York, you know, I would do that for New York. But now that I live here, now that I have a Hawaii ID, now that the first time I went to a spot and actually got kama'aina, it's a real thing here. So for me, I take it very seriously, and this is something that is going to threaten the agriculture of the island. So again, with those numbers that I mentioned earlier, those are alarming numbers. So anything that I can do to help slow that down and to keep this island gorgeous, I'm all for it.
I appreciate that.
He forgot to say he bought an orchard, and it's right in that whole organic section of Moloa'a. And me, as a longtime member of the Hawaii Farmers Union Kauai chapter, what's being put out there right now with all the poisons that would destroy the businesses of all these organic farms. And so he went and helped a neighbor farm. He's been helping all kinds of people, bringing it back to our peace here. These guys are giving us a gift. They heard me say, I'm kind of uncomfortable when I see we have $13 million that we're taking this kind of gift from you. I know you're not endless, and you need to buy more trucks. I'm telling you that right now, and more steamers, because you're probably going to really need to grow.
Absolutely.
But so I want to just give you my heartfelt thanks that you're willing to help our golf course, and not sit there and go, well, I'll wait till you got the paperwork to do it. And I apologize, I forgot to talk about the little form that, I forget the acronym for it, but that you didn't get done.
The HC.
Yeah, so my bad. I was trying to encourage you guys the right steps.
Yep, we're on it.
All right, but so you're doing it. You're giving us this gift of 11,000.
No, I'm not.
I was looking $11,790 worth. I've been looking at all these millions up above it. $11,790 gift.
Yes.
So I'm embarrassed, but I thank you. And I know
Absolutely.
You've been really good with these farmers who haven't been able to really afford it, but you're going to need to grow.
Absolutely.
So it's good when we have places that can pay for it, that they actually pay for it.
Yep. Well, thank you.
So I give you my gratitude.
Any other questions for Mr. Lance? So what is your background? You like a botanist or like? I'm yeah.
So I grew up between New York and New Jersey. My grandfather had a contracting business as a kid, so we were always working, whether it was, in the yards, raking leaves, shoveling snow, things that don't happen here. Cleaning offices. He had a very widespread, just arm in a lot of these things. And one thing that I really learned from him was that people never forget how you make them feel. And I knew that because every room that he walked into, he commanded everyone's attention, and he was just a guy cleaning. But I knew what hard work was, just hands-on. I'm also a veteran of the NBA. I played 9 years professional basketball. So I thought I was coming here to relax and play piano all day, but there's no way that I can do that knowing what's happening. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I really do. I'm intrigued.
Chair, he's incredibly humble, but yes.
I'll go Google him later.
New York Knicks.
Yesterday, we were at the state capitol for the legislature, and I was sitting in one of the senator's office talking with the senator, and I looked out the window, and man, there's a coconut tree with the diamond.
Yeah.
And, it's everywhere. So appreciate you.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for these gentlemen? Thank you very much.
Lonnie has.
I can see Felicia. I just got to make room for him. Mr. Psychos?
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. Gentlemen, huge shout out from those of us that have lived here longer than you guys have. As valuable as the CRB treatment is, Lahaina burned to the ground for the simple reason that buffalo grass and all those other giant grasses are currently uncontrollable, even using herbicides. Because the herbicides don't kill the little balls in the roots and they eventually grow back. If you have a way to kill guinea grass, I don't know how much money you made in the NBA and how much you've made invested off of that. You can burn all of that for the money you're going to get, not just from Hawaii, but around the world for getting rid of these invasive species. They are a horror story. I have a background in farming. And if you get these pests in your farm, that's all your profit is gone dealing with invasive species. It's brutally hard to farm in Hawaii and make money. Primarily, all the things affect everybody, but then on top of it is all the invasive species. But I kind of got up here because I want to pull back my former testimony. And what I would like to see, and Fern, you're the one that could facilitate this, we almost spent a couple of $100,000 buying a portable air curtain. And so what I'd like to see up there is a battle of CRB killers, right? Which is the better bang for our buck, $200,000 for a portable air curtain, or your guys' system I totally understand. And I was a merchant seaman in engine rooms. The thing that is the most effective way to fight fires with steam. Steam absorbs, I forget, 1,200 times or something the amount of heat that liquid water does. And so steam is one of the most efficient ways to both put fires out, and that's all of us being alive, right? And so steam's perfect, no residue, no pesticides. I can't thank you enough for bringing this technology here. And I'm even more amazed that it comes out of North Dakota until he told me about, you know, using it with cattle and horses and all of the silage and grain silos and all of that. So thank you very much for connecting all the dots for us. Huge, huge. Hire this guy.
Anyone else? If not, I'll call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion, Councilmember Holland?
Thank you all so much for engaging in this conversation. I just want to add a couple more things. Another huge gratitude to Lance and his team. You know, these machines are very expensive. I believe they cost over $150,000 a pop or so. Yeah, so he put a huge investment in our community out front where we have just really struggled for response. And I am so grateful. It's so rare that I tell people, wow, thank you for moving here and retiring here. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I did to Mr. Lance because I am just like, whoa, like your passion and your ability to like dedicate this is like done so much for our community. I'm blown away. I mean, the use of this technology to treat tires so you're not moving weeds in between, incredible, you know, crossing into agricultural lands you don't want them to, the use of weeds, all of this stuff. The real goal is to use the curtain burner alongside this steam technology. There's certain situations where the steam is better. Say you don't want to have a fire in close proximity, you can't access it. There's going to be other times where we need to burn. The idea of starting to develop these bait trap stations, especially around the east side, where we have these piles that are steamed. I mean, really every 4 months we could get away. Lance is great at being 3 months to make sure that they don't reach maturity, but they're generally, like he said, larvae for, you know, up to 7 months. So under 5, they start to turn, like in warmer weather. So 5 to 7 months is really the transition where they're hatching into beetles. So even 3 times a year on clockwork every 4 months would likely wipe out the whole thing. He's doing even more diligence by recommending 3 months. But the idea would be to create these piles of attractant piles where you even have UV lights and maybe other attractants to encourage the beetles to breed in those piles and then steam them so we can pull these populations down around Wailua. To do that, we need the curtain burner to burn all the additional green waste so that we're not just attracting them to other areas where we can't control. The last thing I just want to add here is, you know, it is a numbers game, so we're pulling those numbers down. But people don't necessarily have to go into steaming in perpetuity. You could steam a pile and then utilize that mulch knowing that it's not contaminated by spreading it thin under 2 inches is what's recommended by the Invasive Species Committee and the DOA is basically if that mulch is spread thin. So then a farmer could utilize all of that one time and know it's not infested. You could also steam a huge pile and net it with the small fisheye Suji netting and then use it later and know that the beetles aren't getting into it, or if they are, they're getting caught. So this is just an incredible tool that we have, and I just thank you all for engaging in the conversation and considering accepting this incredible donation from Mr. Lance.
Thank you, Councilmember
And
Calvin.
I want to acknowledge Kenwan and Lance, a team of two, and then your two dogs. And what I look at is an economic development opportunity, and so I'm speaking right now to the Office of Economic Development. We're always looking for new pieces of work, and I haven't pushed on you yet, but I would like to encourage you to be looking at the people that we need to be hiring and training, because it's not just coconut rhinoceros beetle. It's, for example, little red fire ant. There's a handful of things that we could go after. And
sterilizing the dirt's great.
And pasteurizing, I just got correct.
Good job, good job.
Good job. So whatever, so we could, there's different technologies, maybe different ways to target it, whether it is problematic plants. But I think there's a whole workforce, and you know, some of our amazing people might actually like being heroes. You might need, besides your traditional work shirt, a little cape, but so that we could go and solve a lot of these problems that have been overwhelming. And I imagine, what I appreciate too, you're not like attached to owning all of it, so like maybe our state trucks can have, we can figure out with Sioux Engineering, Sioux Corporation, and steam along the guardrails. You know, I've tried to do that about 7 years ago, but those guys might be able to come out here and figure out a way where we can get away from all our, you brought it up, glyphosate and Bayer and all this poison, how we can work on that too. So lots of good possible outcomes. So I've been very enthusiastic.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll get Mr. Kaua.
I just appreciate the discussion and, you know, this healthy discussion as far as I'm concerned. But from the basketball court to the football field, if we can, a little bit.
Miami Dolphins.
But in addition to the beetle, I like the idea of the tackling. Guess what? The grass, the guinea grass. And that's another option there. But great job on addressing this issue overall. And I like how you laid it all out. But I think there's more opportunities in different areas as well. So take it one step at a time, and whatever we can do to support this effort in moving forward. So I just wanted to bring that to the table, but appreciate the discussion.
Mr. Cooley?
Yeah, I too wanted to express my gratitude. Mahalo nui loa. This is a really big deal, and thank you for getting it, for coming here and learning what aloha is right away, and learning what kuleana responsibility and, you know, taking care of the aina, our land. So we really, really appreciate you. I'm a homestead leader in Anahola, my Hawaiian homestead there too. So I'm looking forward to your growth, your company's growth, and all the work that you will be doing. And hopefully you can help us in our neighborhood too. Thanks.
Anyone else? If not, thank you again. I just Googled you on right now while you were, you know, I'm not a basketball fan. I mean, I just not, but.
He is now.
I'm a Lance Thomas fan. I mean, I got to go look up YouTube videos now. I was looking at your stats, like, hey, this guy is the real deal. Appreciate you choosing Kauai as your landing spot, and like Mr. Cooley said, you know, to come here and understand Kuleana right away. Some people never get it. Some of the transplants never get it, and transplant is not derogatory. You know, we welcome everyone, but you got it. And we appreciate that. And the opportunity for you to work with us and the county and I'm sure the state and everyone else in a very short period of time will help this community quite a bit. The beetle is wiping us out, and with no real solutions. I mean, everybody's trying stuff, and yeah, I'm impressed, and I just thank you, both of you, for being here today and sharing this with us. And again, you know, for taking an interest in making this place better. That means a lot. So thank you very much, and best of luck.
I just wanted to add one more quick thing, because I learned this from Councilmember Holland too. It's especially critical. I mean, ultimately we may lose all or most of our coconut trees, but when the beetle has consumed all of that, it's going to move on to other palms, and we have some native palms that we absolutely need to try and protect too. So the struggle is continual.
All right, with that, the motion is to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Let's do the committee minutes, the minutes, and then we'll take a caption break.
Chair, the next item are your committee reports from your Committee on Finance and Economic Development, CRFED 2026-01, and on page 5, CRFED 2026-02.
Move to approve. Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. With that, we'll take our 10-minute caption break, and then we'll come back and do the bills. 10 minutes. Okay, all right, meeting called back to order. Madam Clerk, let's take the Kauai Fire Department item 2026-21, please.
Chair, on page 4, C2026-21, communication from the Fire Chief requesting council approval of the indemnity provisions contained in the Davenport Aviation Incorporated purchase agreement required to purchase an Airbus H-145D twin-engine helicopter fully customized and equipped for search and rescue, wildland aerial firefighting, and disaster response operations.
Okay, the motion was to approve. With that, I'll suspend the rules. Tyler?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Again, Tyler Saito, County Attorney. I had a chance to review the purchase agreement in whole. It's important to really look at the context in which the provision is operating in. And to be very clear, the provision that Chair had asked about, essentially it boils down to the county. We are liable and responsible for our employees, our property, while we are at the seller's facility for training. So we are responsible for our loss and any of our damages of our people. So if our person were to trip over a wire that was clearly marked to be take caution while walking over it, we would be responsible for that employee's injury or damage. This does not mean, though, that we would be liable for injury to our employees or our property if the seller were to engage in some gross negligence or willful misconduct while we were there at the facility. So to be very clear, this is very standard language in a contract. I would recommend that you approve it today. Again, and to clarify, we will not be using, and I believe Captain Hussey can clarify, we will not be using the helicopter we are purchasing to do the training.
Thank you, Tyler.
Adam Hussey with the Kauai Fire Department. I appreciate the opportunity and the time to get you accurate answers. The concern that you had is that the helicopter we're purchasing might get damaged. So the way the training works is our personnel, they would go up to the Airbus headquarters facility, and they're not working on our helicopter. They're working on props and training equipment that Airbus provides. So our helicopter is not going to be worked on as part of the maintenance training, just to clarify that.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Also, the other question was the timeliness of this being approved. That if not approved today, it could severely impact the delivery date of this helicopter.
That's correct. Right now, we're in a position to get the helicopter in the third quarter of 2028. And if things don't fall into place, that would get pushed back a year to the third quarter of 2029. So that's why we appreciate the opportunity to get you the answers that you need.
Thank you. Any questions for the attorney or the fire department? Not, thank you very much. Oh, go ahead.
So what was the answer to the question about removing part of that language? It would not work for them because, you have this entire sentence. Furthermore, buyer shall hold seller and its employees and agents harmless for any such loss or injury, regardless of cause or fault. So did you ask them if the sentence was removed completely? Would that be a problem for them? And did you also ask them if regardless of cause or fault, just that little piece was removed? I mean, it still would say the buyer shall hold seller and its employees and agents harmless for any such loss or injury, period. It would still say that. It's this other little piece that seems to say opposite of what you just told us is okay, that the standard language means if seller engages in gross negligence or whatever, if it's their fault, they'll accept responsibility. But here it says regardless of cause or fault. So why can't we just take out regardless of cause or fault?
So again, like I mentioned, Vice Chair, you have to read the contract in its totality and in its context. And so unfortunately, you don't have the full agreement in front of you. There is another paragraph later in the purchase agreement about liability. So it specifically talks about gross negligence and willful misconduct, that even if that language is in that paragraph as it reads in front of you, it does not release the seller from liability due to their engagement in negligent conduct or willful misconduct. So when you read it in totality, it is a pretty standard commercial purchase agreement contract.
I don't like it.
Any other questions for the county attorney or fire department? If not, thank you very much. With that, I'll call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. With that, I'll suspend the rules. Mr. Hart?
For the record, Bruce Hart. It pretty much says, Tyler said what I was trying to say. And I don't know the terminology and I don't know the law nearly as well. But I see it as from what Tyler explained, that we're responsible for our people and they are responsible for their people and their facility. And that's what it's saying. You know, if one of our fire men were to do something that was just against what had been explained to them that they weren't supposed to do, we would be responsible. If their facility or their employees do something that is negligent, then they're responsible. And usually it works out. But there are instances. And so I appreciate the council's concern because it would cost us if we made the mistake. I don't know well enough to be able to advise you on something like this, but I appreciate that you brought up the subject, Chair. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Cycles?
For the record, Lonnie Sykos. I'd like to thank the county attorney for your excellent summation. As part of the structure of business law in the United States, one of the things that's extremely difficult to do is to get someone to fully and permanently sign away what essentially are their civil rights. And so I was a merchant seaman. I was described under law as being the chattel of the master of the ship and the ship's owner. That's what the Jones Act does. It's a relationship. And thus, the ship had no responsibility whatsoever to prevent me from getting injured or killed so long as it occurred in the normal course of duty. Being a seaman is a dangerous occupation. I got injured, and although the documents that I signed said that the ship wasn't liable, the federal law says that because, as the court affirmed, that they were grossly negligent, amongst other things, that those provisions of indemnity did not apply. And so in my own life, I've been through the circumstance that he's describing, which is standard contractual language. And I don't know how long that indemnity is, but it's probably 60 pages or something. And so if in fact the manufacturer's facility is grossly negligent or willfully negligent or any of those legal terms, then they don't have a legal defense. And so the county attorney put me, who's not an attorney, I'm not giving you legal advice, it's my personal observation, that I don't think you're ever going to get a better contract. I'm assuming this is just standard industry language. I mean, otherwise, when you bought a car, you'd have to sign a paper that said no matter how messed up the auto construction was that caused your harm, you wouldn't be able to sue. And so consumer protection protects us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I'll call a meeting back to order. Any further discussion? Councilmember Cowden?
I just want to thank you for really calling attention to that detail. I think it is important. I'm going to be in agreement with Councilmember Holland is that we're seeing a trend, in industry and sometimes courts protecting that and legislation removing liability at profound ways. So our speaker was hurt, I don't know, I'm making a guess, 30 years ago, something like that. And things change all the time. And so I appreciate that you're asking. I very much appreciate our attorney looking into it. And of course we want the helicopter. We worked really hard to spend $16 million, to commit $16 million to keep everybody safe. So I will be saying yes, but I think we need to be really diligent, and I'm going to say diligent, at looking at indemnifications, because if no one gives pushback, it becomes the norm. And then they just say, oh, well, that's how everything is. And it is becoming more and more where we surrender rights after rights after rights. And so I will vote yes, but thank you for asking.
Thank you. Councilmember Holland?
Yeah, Chair, I also appreciate you pointing that out, and County Attorney for you checking it for us. I feel a lot better after hearing that. There are those things that you are still indemnified, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of research myself in the last week trying to understand that on the federal level as this case goes before the Supreme Court. So yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the clarification. I feel a lot more comfortable supporting. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Cooley?
Yeah, I'm going to support it. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm going to trust our county attorney here. And also, I'll just say, this to me is kind of like, legal speak or lawyer speak, whatever. When we remember way back when we had the shall and the must, where shall ended up just being maybe legally. So be it.
Yeah, you sued the county people, Kai.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Filed a complaint.
You and I did. And I'm proud of that. The shall is shall. Shall is not me. Mr. Connoisseur.
Yeah, I'll be supporting this. I understand Councilmember Cooley's concerns, but, I really think if we try to change the terms, I don't think our bang for the buck will be there. We will probably be in negotiations for, I don't know, who knows how long, and it may not ever change. So I really appreciate Tyler's explanation on it. I feel comfortable moving forward, and I will be voting in favor of this.
Mr. Carvalho?
Yeah, I too support the effort. Thank you, Tyler, for bringing it back to the table and clarifying everything. And it's, sometimes you just bring things to the table and question, and it was a great response, and I'm going to support it. Follow.
Anyone else? Okay, I just want to thank Tyler. A couple of things. When I read this paragraph, it talks about any loss or injury to the buyer's property while at the seller's facility. Well, we're just assured that it'll never be our helicopter that is at the facility. It'll be their property. So that was a big concern of mine, because these things are not cheap. Every contract, every legal document has fine print. And in this case, again, thank you, Tyler, the fine print is actually in the purchase agreement, the contract, where it, again, like Mr. Cooley said, I'm not an attorney, and I trust our county attorney, and I appreciate him going through the contract. The provision for gross negligence is in there, so I'm satisfied with that. So I'm after the clarifications made by the fire department and the county attorney, I'm more than happy to support this today. So thank you very much. With that, the motion is to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, guys. Next item, please.
Chair, this is on page 5, bills for first reading. Proposed draft bill number 2980, a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number B 2025-905, as amended, relating to the operating budget of the County of Kauai, State of Hawaii, for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, by revising the amounts estimated in the general fund. This is for the ACFR Year 1 fiscal year 2024 change order of $130,000.
Move to approve on first reading, schedule for public hearing on February 18th, and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Go ahead.
I have just a procedural question.
Sure.
When do these 4 bills end up on the committee meeting?
When? After the public hearing.
So the public hearing is
It's on February 18th, so it'll be
February 18th, so it will be on
the committee meeting March 4th.
March 4th, okay, because we're not meeting on the 25th. Okay, so on March 4th is when it will be before committee.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or? I believe you testified in the memo, when we had the memo. Did Mr. Cycles testify when we had the memo? On the communication? Yeah.
My question is what's the $130,000 for?
As was stated, it was a change order from the auditor for the audit that they just completed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. With no other discussion, the motion is to approve. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kuli'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Opozo?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 absent.
Next item.
Proposed draft bill number 2981, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 5A, Hōʻike County Code 1987 as amended, relating to real property tax. This provides the Director of Finance with inspection and examination of real property powers.
Move to approve. Hang on. This one here, Councilmember Cowden had a legal question, which, in consulting with the county attorney, will require an executive session. So we're not going to have the bill. We're going to defer the bill until after we have the executive session. I already informed our real property tax manager, and he went back to his office. So we'll have no discussion on the bill itself.
I just, could that questions be asked not in executive session and between her and the attorney?
I believe they've had discussions, but some of the questions that were not answered at this time, according to our county attorney, would need to be in executive session. And, while we do have the authority to go to executive session under certain circumstances, I don't believe the urgency would meet the statute for an emergency executive session. So I did explain it to the real property tax manager, and he was, I'm not sure if he was okay with it, but this is not pressing like the helicopter indemnification. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to defer.
Move to defer.
Second.
And with that comes an executive session posting as well. Okay, there's no discussion after a motion to defer. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kuli'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Opozo?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 excuse.
Next item, please.
Proposed draft bill number 2982, a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number B2025-905 as amended, relating to the operating budget of the County of Hawaii, State of Hawaii for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, by revising the amounts estimated in the general fund. This is for the Kauai Road Parks parcel, $800,000. We do have one registered speaker.
Move to approve on first reading, scheduled for public hearing on February 18th, and refer to the Parks and Transportation Committee.
Second.
Thank you. With that, I will suspend the rules. Mr. Porter, if you'd like to come up and explain what this is for. I think you've met with all the council members privately, but for the benefit of the viewing public and members in the audience, if you could come up and share.
Hey, Pat Porter, Director of Parks. So this is to purchase 3 acres that's adjacent to the existing Kapahi Park, to expand the Kapahi Park. The footprint right now for Kapahi Park is 4 acres, and then this property is directly adjacent, so it abuts the existing park, and we are looking to expand it 3 more to make 7 acres total for Kapahi Park. Anticipated purpose, it would be to expand the playing field. Currently, Kapahi Park has the main sports are baseball and soccer, and they currently share the field. The soccer fields are drawn on the outfield of baseball, so there's some competition and use over there.
And so by adding this space, we'll be able to move the soccer to its own location, and then baseball will have the infield and outfield for their use, and then just open green space for the community. Yep.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Porter? No questions? Thank you very much. With that, the rules are suspended. Was that Mr. Seibert?
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. So my question for all the members of the county council is, when we go back in the history of this, we know that when the council decided to allow commercialization of all of our county parks, do you think it's funny, Fern? You shouldn't laugh at the public.
Excuse me.
You shouldn't let her laugh at the public, Mel.
I understand. Just direct your comments to the chair.
So, when the commercialization of the parks came up, there were quite a few members of the public who questioned why, number one, you were conflating the two issues of people that had non-commercially zoned property wanting to allow commercial activities. And so you created an ordinance that allowed them to carve out part of their private property and run their commercial activities on it. The other part of that, which had absolutely nothing to do with it, was allowing commercialization of our county parks. Now, I asked Mel the question of who asked to commercialize our county parks, and the response from Mel was no one, and the response from you four was silence, and yet DLNR informs us that this was a multi-year project that certainly the mayor, if not all of you, had been aware for a considerable amount of time that this was in process. And it also came out that we never once had a public hearing. This never once came before the public, and that the mayor and you guys prevented Ms. Cowden from even knowing what you were going to do until the day of the meeting.
Are you talking about Kapahi Park?
I'm talking about Kapahi Park. What is your plan to commercialize it?
I'm not sure. I don't get.
You don't understand. So, why is it that you guys made the decision to allow commercial activities on all of our parks?
That is not what's on the agenda today.
No, what's on the agenda is this park, and I'm asking why you're buying this property and what commercial activity you're planning.
Okay. No. That was
Right.
yeah, I got it.
And when we asked this last time, you told us no one had asked.
This is the first time this is on the agenda.
This is the ongoing saga of our parks.
Okay, that's not what's on the agenda. The agenda is Kapahi
I'm
Park.
addressing what's on the agenda, and my question is, you did not disclose the commercial activity you intended to have at Hyena through the state, and so what secret deals...
That is not on the agenda.
My question is, you want to buy this property, and whether or not I support it is the answer to the question of, has anyone asked to commercialize this park?
No. I think Mr. Porter made it very clear of the purpose was to expand the park for sports fields. That's the purpose that he just said about 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Not, I'll call the meeting back to it. Any further discussion?
I've asked most of my questions directly of Director Porter, and I will say I even did ask the question, not the way that the person just, the testifier just asked, but we had a good conversation about it. There's an existing building and a house on it, asked about what's going to happen with the building. Could we use it? Could it get moved? would it be used for concession? I did ask those questions. So you were asking all of us, and I understand your intention behind the question, because in another park thing, we didn't ask that piece. But so this is going to be a soccer field. What I was happy about in looking at is that it's like the right dimensions and size for that the sellers approached the county, that the appraised value, and they did a new appraisal, is appropriate, because that was one of the things I was looking at first. You know, are we paying too much? Is there something wrong? This is a rare opportunity to be able to extend the park, so it's one of those things that we should take advantage of while we have the opportunity. You know, we had a pretty rigorous discussion about where we spend money, but this is a rare opportunity, and I think that it is something that will help the community there. We talked about parking and potential parking, and we know that there is a challenge in that whole area right near Hōʻike Falls, where the park gets overutilized. This isn't intended to be a parking lot for that, but what is good is that there will be more parking there, so there was really quite a bit of discussion that we did have. We probably went really rather robust in our meeting, and he was very forthcoming. So at this point, it's just going to be a soccer field, and we'll have a change of administration, so it'll be up to the next administration on whether or how they want to use any park. So that's the most that we could ask. And in this case, it's just about extending this park, and so soccer, mostly.
Ms. Holland?
Thank you, Chair. I am super excited about this because I was born and raised in Kapahi, and a lot of people in the Kapahi community have requested stuff to be done to that park. So I am super thankful. I actually regret that I was not able to circle back with all the people that emailed me about this and let them know this is on the agenda, so I will do so for the next meeting. I received multiple emails from constituents in Kapahi that were just like, please, I just found out the parcel next door to the park is available. Can you purchase it for the park? We need an expanded park. And when I circled back with Director Porter and he said, oh, we're already in conversation about that, I was like, fantastic. So very excited to see the expansion of the park. Right now, the baseball field does overlap with the soccer, and it's kind of almost dangerous because there's baseball going toward the soccer kids. And if you notice the parking, like Councilmember Cowden mentioned, a lot of the guys are parking behind the other people to make way for all the kids. So super needed for Kapahi. Really exciting opportunity. It's so rare that you find a parcel immediately next to one of our county parks that goes up for sale. This is almost doubling the size of Kapahi Park in a community that has a really high population and uses a lot of sport activity at that park. So super excited. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Mr. Kaneshiro?
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, I don't want to belabor a past testimony, but that was a whole mixed match of different issues that I think was kind of confusing. We're not hiding any information from anybody. We're all subject to sunshine law. Everything's been posted. We all find out information pretty much at the same time, but I mean, there's just a lot of accusations there that I was not sure where it was coming from. Back to our main topic, which is the park. You know, I think we definitely need to take the opportunity to purchase it. Opportunities like this don't come along every day. If we don't do it now, someone else purchases it. We may have lost the opportunity forever. You know, and it's a great thing that the landowners are willing to and want to sell it to the county. And again, you know, we're creating bigger spaces for, you know, recreational activities, soccer, baseball, basketball, all the types of activities we want our kids and everyone in the neighborhood to enjoy. So I think it's a really good thing, and it's a really good opportunity that we have right now that we need to take advantage of getting.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I'll just say, just to clarify, this is the first time this has been on the agenda. I did mention that the Parks Director did meet with council members 2 at a time to comply with sunshine law as far as the purchase of this property. I'm not there is no plan to commercialize the property. There was no backdoor deals about commercializing this property, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Mr. Kaneshiro, because, you know, oftentimes that's what people hear, and then that spreads. That's what spreads. You know, they just bought Kapahi Park so they can commercialize the park. I'm not sure where that came from either. And I appreciate you guys' professionalism in your responses, because sometimes it's just best to let those things go. But I did want to clarify that this is not a backdoor deal. This is as upfront as it gets. And we appreciate the information that was provided to each of us by the Parks Department. And really, they do that so if we have any concerns, we get to share our concerns before it hits the floor. And appreciate that openness and transparency. So with that, the motion is to...
I have one final comment too. What I did also ask about and then was satisfied is when I'm looking at where we move the money from. Like, I always try and find out where we're moving the money from. And so some of it came from the fire department, and I was able to talk to the fire department, and they aren't going to use that other landing pad where there was some money, $500,000 for it. So I did check on that too. So just so that's clear.
Thank you. With that, the motion is to approve and send it to public hearing. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kuali'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Pozo?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 excuse.
Thank you. Next item, please.
The next item is proposed draft bill number 2983, a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number B2025-906 as amended relating to the capital budget of the County of Kauai, State of Hawaii for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 by revising the amounts estimated in the General Fund CIP. Again, this is for the Kauai Road Parks parcel.
Move to approve on first reading, scheduled for public hearing on February 18th, and refer to the Parks and Transportation Committee.
Okay. Thank you. For the public's information, this is just moving the funds that were transferred into the CIP funds into the the CIP account to a specific line that can only be used for the purchase of this property on Kauai Road. With that, motion is to approve. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kuali'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Pozo?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 excuse.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Our next item is executive session on page 6, ES 1156, pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statute Sections 92-4, 92-5A4, and Kauai County Charter Section 3.07E. On behalf of the council, the Office of the County Attorney requests an executive session with the council to provide the council with a briefing, discussion, and consultation regarding the quarterly report on pending and denied claims. This briefing and consultation involves the consideration of the powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and or liabilities of the council and the county as they relate to this agenda item.
Can I get a motion to go into executive session, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any public testimony? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kuali'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Pozo?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 excuse.
Okay, with that, we'll reconvene in 5 minutes in executive session chambers. Hōʻike, you can hang out until we're done because we got to come out. Okay, thank you. Meeting back to order. Mr. County Attorney.
Good morning. The council has concluded its executive session on item ES 1156. The council received the briefing on the quarterly report on pending and denied claims. Discussion is not subject to disclosure as it would frustrate the purpose of the executive session. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, if there is no objection, this meeting is adjourned.